Today we get a chat with Kyle, the vocalist and guitar player of the band Exhorder. I hope you enjoy.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
are you Nika?
Yes,
How are you?
I'm good. I am cold. It like went from like pretty warm here until the last week freezing, and my body is not adjusting well
Where is here?
in Boise, Idaho.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we're cold too. It's been like 30s and 40s here, which is atypical, but I
Yeah.
was just in Alaska with my
Oh,
wife she's on a work assignment. I spent the holidays with her and it was really cold there. It was like anywhere between 0 and like 20 something, and it really never got warmer than that. I'm not
oh
built for
my
this.
gosh. No, no. Yeah, even with the facial hair, it doesn't keep you that warm.
No, no.
Oh, so you have the tour coming up next week, next Thursday, I believe was the beginning of it. Unforeseen circumstances. I love the title of the tour. Tell me about that because that's so creative.
So we're coming to the end of our 2-year cycle for promoting Defectum Omnium. So we've done tons of tours for Defectum Omnium already. We're like, let's have some fun with this one. We had two tours cancel on us last year that were both canceled to unforeseen circumstances. So it's an inside joke for us, just to have some fun. We're never terribly serious for long. So that the way we see it is, due to unforeseen circumstances, we must complete this tour.
Yeah, it's I mean not a short tour, but it's not like a super long tour, so hopefully there won't be too many unforeseen circumstances that happen during
Yes.
it.
Yes. So 23 shows in 25 days, I want to say.
Oh,
It's
it's
going to be a
busy.
grind.
Yeah.
And we are the road crew. So we are the drivers. We have one crew member that comes out with us uh uh at least every tour. We have at least one crew member. Our buddy Jason Ogle is going to be doing front of house, but he helps us drive and whatever else we need. Usually, my wife or my daughter comes out and sells merch and helps with tour managing, but neither are available to me. So you're looking at the world's worst tour manager and the world's ugliest merch girl.
Well, you'll be here on Valentine's Day, which I can't think of a better way for to celebrate Valentine's Day than to go to a kick-ass metal show. So
Awesome, awesome.
that'll be yeah, a fun time. And in one of our really popular venues, but kind of one of the smaller ones, I was a little bit surprised that that's where you guys were going to be playing.
The Shredder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've played there before. I want to say we played there last year.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that part of the country. I've always heard, because I really didn't play a lot of that part of the country until like within the last 5 years. And so I always ask my booking agents, one of my things that I like trying to do is going to markets that, one, that we've never been to yet, and two, that don't get a lot of shows necessarily because they're off the beaten path, and and probably get overlooked by a lot of people. I find that those shows are the most fun because people are just appreciative that someone's coming through, and I don't know. I'd rather have that show than to play a big city that's got two or three other shows at night, or they just had so and so the other night, and they're kind of jaded and spoiled. And not that I hate playing the big cities, I don't, but I find that the 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 smaller metropolitan areas, and even the much smaller cities, the people turn out and they seem to really give more back to us than a lot of the other audiences do. And that's what you want. You want a symbiotic, organic relationship with your audience.
Absolutely, a high exchange of energy, which helps everybody out. Boise actually has a pretty intense metal scene that you wouldn't expect for a smaller town. But all very we have quite a few metal local bands and all very supportive of each other, all very supportive of the scene itself.
Well,
It's pretty
good. That's the
cool.
way
It
it should
reminds
be.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, but not how it is in a lot of places.
Understood. Yeah, yeah. That uh, we come from New Orleans originally, and New Orleans is a major metropolitan area, but not quite to the degree. Yeah, at its most bustling, I want to say pre-Katrina, New Orleans had not just in the city, but in the greater New Orleans area, about a half a million people. So, that's pales in comparison to the 7 point whatever million that's in Houston, just a few miles
Right.
over. It's a big difference.
For sure.
Still has a small town feel, but a big city feel too,
For
somewhere in
sure.
the middle.
Yeah. Speaking of Katrina, you were one of the very many that was affected by that, along with other difficult life obstacles that you've gone through. What are some things that you do to kind of help with self-care, balancing of life, whether you're going through those things or whether you're, doing these exhausting long tours? What are some things that you do to help your mental health?
Well, drinking the pain away is a terrible idea. I can't say I haven't done that myself from time to time, but
For sure.
no, for real, you have to find an outlet, and the creative outlet really helps. Not everybody has that, so staying active, that's a good idea anyway, especially, moving forward, getting older. We just lost a very close person to us this past week, Jorge Caicedo. He played bass in Exhorder for a minute, and
Sorry.
cancer caught up with him, and valiant fight. But it just goes to show you, sometimes you can take care of yourself because poor guy, he never drank, he never did drugs, he really didn't smoke cigarettes, anything, and it still got him. So it's no guarantee, even when you take care of yourself, that it's going to end up that you're going to end up on the good side. So I don't know. For me, I do my best. I had more fun than I needed to. I had more fun for the both of us than we ever would need throughout my life. But I try to eat right. I try to exercise, stay active. It's hard to be fanatical about that kind of thing when you have a life that pulls you in so many different directions, jobs,
Yeah.
family, all this stuff. So I don't know. I think positivity, and balance are the keys to living a long, healthy life. And if something gets you on the in between, well, then enjoy the ride. That's all you can really do.
Right. Very true. Do you recognize like when you are more active, when you are like paying more attention of finding that balance, does it affect your vocals? Do you notice if you have like more power, if you have
Yeah, yeah. So uh, I always tell I'm an instructor also, so I always tell my students the I don't have a magic wand to wave to fix a broken voice. Uh, the only thing I can tell people is get your rest as much as possible when you're out on tour. If you've got a show coming up, don't wear yourself down to the point where you're putting yourself at risk. You've compromised your health. Good sleep, and don't drink after people. Don't share something to smoke. Don't share something to eat with others if you're a singer. And really, in general, in life, it's a terrible idea. But and I know in some cultures it's like how it's done, but like for me, I bring my own microphone. I don't like sharing a toothbrush. Why would I share a microphone? So if you're a singer and you're just getting started, buy your own microphone, buy more than one windscreen, and watch them. But good rest, take supplements, balanced diet, and just normal all the all the cliche things that they tell you growing up. It's true. You want to take care of your temple,
Yep.
because if your mind is ready to sing and your body isn't in agreement, it ain't happening.
For sure. Yeah. Well, plus I'm sure you don't have the energy to even do it because it does obviously take a lot of energy as well.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of obviously being healthy, when you guys had done your big, comeback and get together in really in 2017 and released the album in 2019 very quickly. The world turned upside down, which was so unfortunate with
Yep.
the timing. What were some things that you did during that time since you guys had your momentum back? Um, what were some things that you did during that time to kind of maintain your sanity?
It really was such an exhorter thing to happen to us at the time because throughout the years, we've managed to, you know, put our own feet in our own mouths and step all over ourselves in the way, in the process of trying to build something here. So we felt like, oh wow, we finally got everything right, and the world shuts down 6 months after More in the Southern Skies is released. So we really barely had just gotten out to do any touring to promote that album. So a full 2 year cycle of promoting that album didn't happen. So instead of sitting there and accepting defeat and crying in our beer, we just said, let's get to work. So we started writing again, and that was the beginning of the pre-production process for Defectum Omnium. So from the time we started until it was released in early 2024, it was a 4 year period that had passed, but we also were out on tour as well. So we once things opened up again, we just got back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So you capitalized on your time well, then it sounds like. I mean, just
It's
a lot of people were writing during that time, and there was a lot of
yeah,
incredible music that came out during a
yeah,
horrific time.
and no shortage of fodder for food for thought to give you lyrical content or be inspired to riff all these things. I know that we weren't the only ones to take advantage of that opportunity. I'm not one to accept defeat very easily, so fortunately, the team that I had with me in this process uh, was in agreement, and we all really worked hard and put our noses to the grind and got it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of lyrical content, you have mentioned in the past a few times that that is your least favorite part of what you do, which is I find ironic and a little bit I'll say hilarious on the outside, probably is not hilarious on your side of things,
It can be
because you
frustrating.
have you've been in so many projects throughout your life and continue to be in so many projects. I can only imagine with the cover bands, you're just so thankful to be able to be singing someone else's lyrics,
Like,
making more
yes,
money.
yes, I get to be just the dumb singer. It's really nice because I don't handle any business in those projects. I basically show up, do my job, get my money, and I walk away. I try to help promote it as much as I can, of course, but I've got too many problems and irons in the fire to have to take on more business responsibilities. So yeah, the last thing I ever want to do also is be one of these artists that cries about the same thing over and over again. So you have to try and not regurgitate the same rhetoric that you've done throughout your career.
Yeah, which I
And if you
can't.
do, find a different perspective on it. That's really all you can do. So um, trying to be fresh and insightful at 55 is very, very different than at 15, I can promise you.
Yeah, so I mean, you again with different projects, Trouble and Exhorder being the two main ones at this point. Do you find yourself finding or looking for inspiration for each of them lyrically in different spaces, since they're two entirely different projects?
To a degree, yeah. There are some things that like I definitely like. I hate politics. I don't trust it. So Exhorder was always kind of an anti-establishment, anti-politics, anti-religion, rather than embracing. Like, I know a lot of metal embraces the Satanist side, but like the way I see it is that's organized religion too, so I don't trust it. So for me, it's uh the anti-establishment thing that kind of suits Exhorder a little bit better. and that's really not a theme that Trouble's known for. Not that I'm trying to ape anything that Eric wrote about, because I mean Eric's an influence on me. So as a fan of Trouble, honoring that legacy of traditional Trouble is very important to me. So I have to find a way to stay in that lane without doing something that isn't totally me. Uh, but at the same time, Eric and I had a lot of the same influences. He was an Edgar Allan Poe fan. I'm an Edgar Allan Poe fan.
Mm.
He was a Beatles fan. I'm a Beatles fan.
Oh
These
yeah.
so the parallels are good and honest, but again, I have to do it in my way. So I look at both bands like when I'm writing, and I do this with all my bands. When I'm writing, if I listen back to it and I have four or five parts of a song, and three of them I love, and the other two I'm not in love with, I ask myself, would I spend money on this?
Mm.
And if the answer is no, it's got to go and I got to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I'm sure it's difficult to separate yourself like that from it though, but that's a smart way of looking at it. Back to the Beatles, it's so funny. There's so many people out there that say they can't stand the Beatles, and I always tell them you're not listening right then. You're not digging deep enough. With the Beatles, there's something for everyone. Same with Led Zeppelin. Like there's something for everyone. If there's one that you don't like, then there's gonna be one that you do like down the road.
Taste is subjective. For instance, I know someone who might say Jeff Tate is the greatest singer in the world. And then I know someone whose favorite singer is Gigi Allen that can't stand Queensryche. So, who's wrong here? You can't
Right.
say that you're wrong if your favorite singer is
Very
somebody
true.
that or artist or whatever. So for me, like I get it if someone just doesn't like the Beatles. There's a lot of great bands out there that I will sit there and say they're a much better band than this, but I just don't enjoy listening to their music, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But when people go, the Beatles are overrated, I'm like, first of all, you're clearly, if you're a musician and you're saying that, shame on you, because
Yeah.
then you haven't listened to, all you got to do, if you go to YouTube and you search Because by the Beatles from Abbey Road, vocals only, and it's all a cappella, no instrumental uh, recording there, and you listen to those isolated vocals and the multi-track harmonies, yeah, come back and tell me if they're overrated after that.
Well, I'm gonna dig into that now. I am a Beatles fan, but I haven't heard that. So that'll be my next project after here. Um, I like to ask people that have been, especially in the industry for a long time, what are some things, it's changed so much over the years. Obviously some good, some very bad. What are some things you feel like with the industry now that might be some of the more positive things, if you can come up with any?
Yeah, that the hard part has been, and look, everybody was so mad at Lars when he
Mm,
took his battle with Napster to court.
mhm.
And I get it. Everybody was like, "Oh man, I finally can listen to anything I want." And this selfish guy is ruining that. Well, he was right.
Oh,
Lars was
100%.
right. I would
100%.
love to have a shirt that said Lars was right. And as much as that dude gets picked on for a lot of different reasons,
Mhm.
I have to stand up for Lars on this one.
Yep.
Um, record sales used to be something that musicians could live off of, and it no longer is true. It's been said that we've all been reduced to traveling T-shirt salesmen, and I can't agree with that more. So the album now just kind of becomes more of like a business card and advertising and a billboard. And when we go out on tour, if people don't turn out and support us at the merch table, um, we've we're in deep trouble. So if we don't go out there with a well-oiled machine ready to put on as good of a show as we possibly can with with interesting enough merchandise for a reasonable price, then shame on us because that's how it's done now. I would tell any of the up and coming young bands that obviously you've got to be uh, you got to be well versed in your craft to make yourself stand
Yep.
apart from the crowd and separate yourself into something interesting enough for people to want to come see.
Yep.
But don't don't stop worrying about that record deal. Stop worrying about the charts and all that stuff because it just doesn't mean what it used to. Make your artwork interesting and make your show good, and that's the key to the success right there. And you got to work. You got to beat the road down.
Yeah, I'll say till the day I die that it's so unfortunate and just honestly just disgusting of how our musicians are being treated financially because music is what is the language that all of us speak all around the world. It's what saves us. It's what's there for us when we're, alone or no one else is, or it's such a lifeline. It's just appalling of how terrible the musicians that create that are being treated this day and age. So I'm with you with the
Yeah,
streaming. I
yeah.
and I will,
Fractions of pennies
yeah, it's
for every
insane.
stream.
It's
It's
insane.
it's wrong. It's wrong,
It
and
is.
people are becoming billionaires off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that here's the sad part. You have like if moving forward, you have to embrace the streaming because it is the current uh, route and the future of music.
Yeah,
The fight is to make sure that we get what is due to us. And
absolutely.
uh, if we can just make that more fair, I think more people would embrace the streaming process. There's
Yeah.
no reason why we should only be getting a fraction of a penny for every spin. That's laughable.
It is. It is, especially as much blood, sweat, and tears goes into creating this music. I mean, there's so much behind it, more than, the majority of people know. I probably know with as much as I do this and ask people about these things and have seen, people go through the process and everything. There's so much and it's insane. It's almost like this. I would love to blip into an alternate universe where it's different, and
Yeah, for sure.
it needs to switch. It needs to change. I know you're busy. I'm going to ask you one quick question because you brought up Edgar Allan Poe. Have you watched The Fall of the House of Usher yet?
I did. I did. That was a series.
Uh-huh.
I watched a little bit of it. I did. I had a harder time connecting to it than I thought I would. Uh, but it wasn't awful. But for me, this is one thing I had a problem with Hammer films back in the '60s when they were doing, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Black Cat, The Fall of the House of Usher, all, Murders in the Rue Morgue. They there was so much liberty taken in the telling of the actual story. And I get it, like a short story is hard to
Yeah.
take enough content from to make a feature film, but sometimes all they did was use the title of the film and it had nothing to do with the stories. And that I have a hard time getting behind that. And I love Hammer films and I love like, the classics like, you know, Horror of Dracula, Curse of Frankenstein. I really do, but I'm a stickler for try and do your best to stay by the book. The closer an adaptation I get to one of the classic books or short stories I get, the more I'm going to enjoy it. I think because
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think that the story's been told once. It doesn't need to be recreated necessarily. Or it should say if it's going to be recreated, it shouldn't be reinvented.
Right, right. No, I agree. I'm a big reader, so anytime I see books that I love come to screen, I every single time I'm like, I shouldn't even watch it because I'll just be angry the whole time. Awesome. Well, good luck on the upcoming tour. We will see you in February, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for taking this time with me.
Likewise, Nika. Thank you.
Yep. We'll talk to you later.
See you soon.